Giving our praises to the Most High through Hamashiach. Just want to come back here with a quick jab here, some news here on the death of Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, better known as the notorious RBG. That was really her nickname. And I just want to say hallelujah, 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 that this woman is dead, that she's up out of here. It's a blessing. And I'll tell you why here shortly, why it's such a blessing that she's up out of here. And she's got the political landscape. Her death has got the political landscape going crazy because, now this will be the third Supreme Court justice that President Trump gets to nominate. So the Supreme Court is becoming more and more conservative, and the left, the Democrats and the liberals, they are, they're shitting their pants, And so now, if there's any sort of shenanigans with the election, and if the Democrats sort of hijack the election with all these mail-in ballots and these impromptu, unrequested mail-in ballots that they're sending out, if that is an attempt to perform a coup de grace and to take over the White House, then it goes to the Supreme Court, and with another Republican and another conservative Supreme Court justice in there, they're going to back Trump. So, the left is they're losing their shit, man, straight up. But let's just take a look here at this quick article. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died. She was 87 years old. So, she lived a long life. The second woman appointed to the bench, achieved icon status, particularly among young lawyers, and particularly amongst young liberal feminist lawyers, and her dissents enhanced her prominence. You know what? Let's just go ahead and take a quick look at the video that CNN has up here and see if we can get some glean from this a little bit.
When you've got auto glass damage, Safe Flight can come to you.
And you'll get a text when we're on our way. Just leave your keys on the dash, and we'll replace your windshield with safe, no-contact service.
Schedule at safeflight.com.
Safe Flight Repair, Safe Flight Replace.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg's rise from a humble Brooklyn neighborhood to the nation's highest court was a classic American story.
What is the difference between a bookkeeper in New York's Garment District and a Supreme Court justice? Just one generation, my mother's life and mine bear witness. Where else but in America could that happen?
She was smart, tied for first in her class at Columbia Law School. But in the late 50s and early 60s, the glass ceiling stood firm.
There were 3 strikes against her. First, she was a woman. Second, she was Jewish. Third, she had a young child.
Bullshit. Her being Jewish actually helped her and propelled her during her law career. They control the courts, and they're prominent lawyers, so that was actually a benefit for her. So don't believe the hype.
She turned to teaching law and fighting gender discrimination for the ACLU.
Very much with the model of the NAACP's Legal Defense Fund, led by Thurgood Marshall. She had this idea that you have to build precedent step by step.
Well, the NAACP had its prominent leaders, chairmen, directors, treasury directors. They were all Jews for the NAACP. The NAACP was actually started by 3 Jewish men. I can't think of their names right now. I'll circle back on that. But it was actually started by Jews, and they placed so-called African Americans in position, the NAACP. So the fact that she drew inspiration from the NAACP, it just speaks to that she just went to her own people who ran the NAACP.
In 1980, Ginsburg became a federal appellate court judge.
So help me God.
So help me God.
13 years later, she was named to the Supreme Court by President Clinton, the second woman on the bench. The first, Sandra Day O'Connor, was glad to see her.
The minute Justice Ginsburg came to the court, we were 9 justices. It wasn't 7 and then the women. And it was a great relief to me.
As a justice, Ginsburg consistently voted in favor of abortion access and civil rights. Perhaps her best known.
That's what the liberals are mad about, that they're not going to be able to have someone, an additional person, killing off babies. And here's the thing. When she votes in favor of abortion rights, she's voting in favor of Planned Parenthood. And, Planned Parenthood is, the plan is to end your parenthood, so-called black man, so-called black woman. They don't want you to have any kids. They don't want you Israelites reproducing over here. All right. So that's why Planned Parenthood is typically in our communities, in the boundaries of the inner cities. Right. They want to abort black babies. That is the plan. Right. So that's what she advocated for. That's why I said at the beginning of this video, all praise to the Most High that she's dead. Good riddance.
Known work on the court, writing the 1996 landmark decision to strike down the Virginia Military Institute's ban on admitting women.
Women shouldn't be in the military anyways. The only reason that women are in the military, and this is true, you can look this up, there were so many rapes by the military and by the United States military in the lands that they occupied before the integration of women into the military. The soldiers would be out raping, the women that they were of the lands that they were in. Right, it became a real problem. So they allow women to come into the military so that men could have something else to stick their rod in, to have sex with. That's the truth, right? It's the only reason that women were allowed to in the military to begin with, right? So if your freedom is on the line, right? If your safety is on the line, okay, you're not thinking of a 5'4", 120-pound woman with an M4 rifle defending you, right? You want a man to take care of that, right? So everyone knows it's a joke while they were in there. So again, the notorious RBG was put in place by Bill Clinton to, help to push this Marxist agenda and this agenda of feminism and debauchery with the abortions and whatnot.
She was also known for her bold dissents, like the one she wrote when the court stopped the 2000 Florida ballot recount, struck down a key provision of the Voting Rights Act, and ended the contraception mandate for some businesses under the Affordable Care Act.
In our view, the court does not comprehend or is indifferent to the insidious way in which women can be victims of pay discrimination.
In 2007, the High Court ruled against Lilly Ledbetter, a factory supervisor at a tire plant, in a high-profile pay discrimination case. Ginsburg urged Congress to take up the issue in her dissent. 20 months later, the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act was the first bill that President Obama signed into law. After Justice John Paul Stevens.
I'm going to do another video, most high willing, on the so-called pay discrimination, the pay discrepancy between men and women. It's all bullshit. It's not real. It doesn't exist. That's another video for another day.
Retired in 2010, Ginsburg became the most senior of her liberal colleagues. But she didn't slow down. Stephen Colbert discovered that the hard way, trying to keep up with RBG's famously tough workouts.
I'm cramping.
And so they're making... They're making this guy, bow down to the feminine principle and say he had to try to keep up with an 87-year-old woman during her workouts. It's just laughable, right? So he has to totally emasculate himself, right? That's how they do men in mainstream liberal media and entertainment.
Working out with an 85-year-old woman.
Ginsburg hired a trainer after treatment for colorectal cancer in the late 90s. In 2018, doctors treating the justice for broken ribs discovered cancerous growths on her lung.
This chick had cancer like 5 times, 5 different forms of cancer, right? So, because of her rulings, the Most High gave her a painful ass death, prayerfully, right? 5 different forms of cancer. right? And pancreatic cancer is, I believe, the one that took her out of here.
The surgery was successful, but the recovery caused Ginsburg to miss oral arguments at the Supreme Court for the first time in her career. She was also treated several times for pancreatic cancer, but always stayed up on her court work. Even after losing her husband of 56 years to cancer, Ginsburg was back on the bench the next morning.
Damn. Good night. Your husband of 56 years dies and you're back to work the next day. His body isn't even cold. And you're back on the bench. She didn't give a fuck about her husband. Good night. Shit. That's what feminism does, man. It just makes women heartless, man. This is a cold bitch, man. Good night. Excuse my language.
I love the work I do. I think I have the best job in the world for a lawyer. I respect all of my colleagues and genuinely like most of them.
Her best friend on the bench was the late judge. They shared a laugh about Ginsburg. We had rock star status with millennials, thanks to social media. The nickname was a play on the name of the late rapper, the notorious B.I.G. There were...
See, this is what Messiah was saying. This is what Hamashiach was saying. He said, you are the salt of the earth, Israel. You give flavor to everything. Her name, the notorious RBG, is a play on the notorious B.I.G., right? We give salt, we give flavor to everything. This society would not be able to function without us, man. Every asset, every little aspect of this society is benefited by you, Yashra'al. Real talk.
Books, clothing, tattoos, even a species of praying mantis in our honor, along with a recurring SNL sketch.
You just got Ginsburg.
There was a feature film on the basis of sex and a documentary produced by CNN. RBG was an unexpected box office hit and gave the justice an even larger platform to share her lifelong mission of gender equality.
People ask me sometimes, when will there be enough women on the court? And my answer is, when there are 9.
People ask me, when will there be enough women on the court? And my answer is, when there are 9. See, that's the goal of feminism. It's not equality. They want to be superior. It's not equality. They want to be superior. They want men to hand over their masculinity to them and agree to do it and to be willing partakers in their own emasculation. That's the goal of feminism. Okay, not equality, superiority. They want the woman to be superior to the man. Okay, so that's it on this part of the video. But I'm just going to hit a real quick article to show you why I gave so much praise to the Most High at the death of this woman. All right, here's an article from ABC News. Supreme Court rejects child porn law. This is back in January 7th, 2006. This article was published, but the actual actions took place in 2002. Washington, April 16th, 2002. The Supreme Court today ruled that the federal government went too far in its effort to restrict pornography when it found that parts of the Child Pornography Prevention Act was unconstitutional. In an unusual move, Attorney General John Ashcroft held a press conference to express his anger with the ruling. This morning, the United States Supreme Court made our ability to prosecute those who produce and possess child pornography immeasurably more difficult, Ashcroft said. In a 6-3 ruling, the court decided that a 1996 law which banned computer-generated child pornography on the internet violates the right to free speech because it was too vague and too far-reaching. Writing for the majority, Justice Anthony Kennedy said the law will not only ban computer-generated child pornography on the internet, but also movies like American Beauty, where young adults are depicted as children having sex. The statute prescribes the visual depiction of an idea, that of teenagers engaging in sexual activity. That is a fact of modern society and has been a theme in art and literature throughout the ages, Kennedy wrote. Well, that's the thing right there. Teenagers shouldn't be having sex. Your 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old daughter should not be getting schmanged out. Okay? She ought to be a virgin until the time she's married. That's true. Right? And our young brothers should not be out there banging these girls out either, man, and engaging in that type of activity. Their minds aren't ready for sex yet, right? And they become worshipers of the vagina, and they become male beta simps, okay? Their minds have to be developed a lot more before they're engaged in sex, all right? Feeding the desires of pedophiles, Justices John Paul Stevens, David H. Souter, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, okay, the notorious RBG, and Stephen G. Breyer signed Kennedy's opinion. All right, so they agreed with Kennedy that, hey, teenagers having sex, right? And the focus is not really on teenagers. It really is on pre-adolescent kids. They're just using teenagers as a veneer to move forward with their focal on defending child pornography. Because, hey, teenagers have sex too, but they're technically children. So we don't want to take away from the artistic value. Like if someone makes a movie and they're having teenagers have sex in the movie, we don't want to take away from their ability to do that. But, the idea, the actual crux of the matter is pre-adolescent kids, okay, not teenagers, right? Justices John Paul Stevens, David H. Souter, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and Stephen G. Breyer signed Kennedy's opinion. Justice Clarence Thomas issued a separate concurring opinion that suggested future regulation of some kinds of virtual child pornography may be possible. So, hey, that's what it is, man. Ruth Bader Ginsburg was one of the justices that said, hey, yeah, you know what? We can't limit all child pornography, right? So she is helping to, push the agenda of pedophilia here in this country. And that's what it's all about. Child pornography, like that Netflix movie Cuties, right? It's all about getting the kids, getting the children, right? And you best believe the seed of Jacob, our children, are the most prized possession for these sick ass bastards. So all praise to the Most High for the death of the notorious RBG. You know what? I can't leave without giving one scripture at least. Hold on. Let's go to book of Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless, right? Right, the children, okay? So woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. This was an unrighteous decree. Woe in the Bible means death. The Most High prescribed death for the notorious RBG, and good damn riddance. Peace and blessings to Yashra all. Shalom.